Welcome back. You're watching the American Workplace Bully 3-3. To recap, hard evidence proved Lorena as being manipulative, dishonest, and a saboteur, in addition to being sadistic and vindictive over personal issues. Now, if you'll bear with me, a brief perspective from history. The Great Recession in 2008 forever changed the broadcasting industry, because companies were so panicked that bean counters were placed in charge and said cut, 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 and consolidate positions. The problem was they had no idea what they were cutting exactly. As a result, a lot of experience and know-how was lost, as well as the next-generation grooming system which created position replacements in-house, should the varsity starter become a free agent or retire. In effect, these cuts created a lesser-skilled employee, and thus began the age of the pseudo-intellectual manager. Because most executives only knew how to run a business, they didn't have the sage wisdom and field experience of the employees they cut. Therefore, a minimally skilled pseudo-intellectual candidate would be able to fake their way through an interview by reciting buzzwords and telling the interviewer exactly what they want to hear. And due to broadcasting being a very subjective-based industry, the pseudo-intellectual manager could flourish. All they would have to do is spitball on why promotion appealed or didn't appeal to them and demand perfection from workers without a single inkling of how to accomplish a task, heavily relying upon the hired Mozarts to carry the manager, never to be questioned on decision-making and given ample opportunity to blame an unsuspecting staff for failure. The system Kathy had shrewdly put into place for project approval was based on subjective appeasement, instead of credible or experienced insight. It's a genius plan, really, to maintain longevity. But there is one drawback. Sooner or later, the pseudo-intellectual manager's ignorance will become evident. Which brings us to a topical review with Lorena on April 23rd, 2014.
We told this widow.
Yeah, we do have video of her.
This widow. Of a World War II here. Widow. Do we need all this?
Well,
because I think we can say that, and the story will tell that. I mean, the fact that they just told this widow, and I can assume the widow has a connection to the VA.
I think when you put in the context for the World War II hero, the widow of a World War II hero,
when you look at you see her, but when you see her on camera, you know that it's from a past war, not from the Iraq War.
You can't really tell.
I mean, if she's, 90-something?
Yeah, but it could be the Korean War. I mean, that's close enough.
And you know what? It doesn't matter.
But
it doesn't matter. The fact is that it's over $20,000 that they told her.
Well, the thing is that people would view World War II heroes as very sacred.
Sure, I totally agree with you.
And you don't mess with them. This is very true. The American population generally agrees World War II as being the good war. As a result, the veterans were progressively deified with each new generation. Now watch how Lorena justifies inserting her ideas into the copy.
I think any veteran, I agree with you, but I think in this case it's really just about that the VA did, this whole $20,000 thing. The fact the VA told this widow she owed them over $20,000. Let the story tell all the details.
How about
it's just a lot of...
Remove this line and put...
But that's the whole hook.
No. The VA demanded $20,000 from the widow of a World War II hero. So that way it
can fit.
Okay. Or from this widow. Demanded.
Okay.
Okay, so how do I continue that? Or
tell me what it is?
Did you say you wanted me to remove this line? Or
what did you say the line was?
The VA demanded $20,000 from this widow of a World War II hero.
It's still just a song.
Well, I mean,
Isn't it just that long?
Not really. I mean, this one...
You're still saying $20,000.
Yeah.
I think for the promo purposes, you could leave that out.
So take out the World War II.
VA told this... You can even add 92-year-old, however she was, 92-year-old widow.
Well, you're gonna see it from this.
Yeah, that's fine. From this widow, she owed them over $20,000.
World War II hero, 92-year-old. World War II hero, 92-year-old. Didn't Lorena just say the copy was as long as the previous copy? Yet she wants to add another couple of words to avoid saying World War II hero. And there is no reasoning behind it. Lorena's judgment seems to be guided by appeasement rather than wisdom. So to be absolutely sure, let's break it down. Lorena believed the VA was the most important element, thinking the recent alleged VA bungling would be strong enough to draw in viewers. And yes, $20K is a very shocking element. However, let's test the strength of Lorena's changes by swapping out the VA with another government agency and then tell me which line is stronger. The IRS demands $20,000 from this widow, or the IRS demands over $20,000 from this widow of a World War II hero. Which line makes you say, okay, and which line makes you ask, why? By adding the extra detail, it hits a raw nerve with the viewer. The agency is not as important because they both say government. Now let's place it back into context, along with Lorena's extra line. Even with her addition, Lorena's changes muddies the compelling reason why you should watch the newscast. The VA's alleged bungling would not be a surprise to anyone because it's day-old news. What made the story unique was the fact that this was a widow of a World War II hero, which would be backed up by a video showing the VA's demands were being made while the widow was in the hospital and practically on her deathbed. Being this is objective, how can I be so certain this copy is correct? Because there is a distinct difference between thinking what a promotion should look like and knowing what a promotion should look like. Oh, by the way, did I fail to mention I'm a multi-Emmy nominated promotions producer from a major market, and I also worked at the network level.
Until Fox 7 on your side stepped in. Until Fox 7 News stepped in. Soundbite.
You want it on your side?
And then, hang on. Until Fox 7 News stepped in. Soundbite. See this on your side with special report. Either or. You can do it either way.
And this was a complete exaggeration by Lorena. While the copy sounds enticing, it completely misrepresents the facts of the story. The original line was, thanks to a Fox 7 News on your side report, the VA looked into the case and forgave her debt. This is factual, though it did need to be pared down a bit. However, with Lorena's changes, until Fox 7 News stepped in, it exaggerates Fox 7's role and implies the station was leading the charge and directly responsible for getting results, which wasn't the case at all. While the newscast did have some influence in compelling the VA to investigate, it definitely did not force the VA into a final decision. This is what you call sensationalism, and a promotions manager should know better. Now, you remember how Kathy said Lorena would be doing her homework on the daily news stories? If that's the case, how could Lorena possibly get this story wrong? It's because she wasn't familiar with the details of the story, and she did not possess the experienced wisdom to interpret its relevance. Instead, she reshaped the story to fit within the parameters of her own idea. Okay, we're going to skip ahead a few minutes into the same meeting, and you'll witness how Lorena is an opportunistic troublemaker, breadcrumbing a trail towards me. If I have time, can I keep that word line in?
And then you turn Fox 7 News.
Okay.
Why do you like that line?
Because it puts it within context.
I think that line only works if you have a soundbite.
Not really. No, he said what is like whenever the N-word is dropped, people react as like, he said what? That's just kind of slang.
Yeah, I don't picture saying that very well.
That's not. It's gonna be.
Why?
Hmm?
Why is he reading these?
No, he'll be reading the first one because that's Austin.
Well, I mean, you can read both of them. This is still a local story. It's Pflugerville. You should be reading the whole thing.
Okay.
I mean, unless there's a reason why that.
I think, well, for time, I don't think it, because you have the net sound on top of that.
I think you can do 2 stories in 20 seconds with net sound.
This is 15 seconds.
I think this one, that way, you're gonna need to cut this for time anyways. I think you can do that.
Okay.
The only reason really to use is that if the anchors aren't available or it's a light story.
Not always.
I thought you would always.
No. It's always, the format has always been, we alternate the anchors, they read the big story, and then takes it from there.
Only does a tag.
No, he does like then and.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to. We can have the anchors do that too.
Well, that's just the format that we've been running for a while.
We don't have to always, if you have a suggestion, you can pitch it.
Really? I have to pitch a suggestion to Lorena to do the same format we've been using since I started working the 9 p.m. topicals? But I'm curious if you noticed Lorena's major mistake by pursuing this. Keep watching.
You don't have to have do then plus, or you can always have the anchors read that.
Okay. This is not what I was told to do. This is what...
These are just transitions.
No, it's not transitions. He reads a story.
So cutting the promos?
Yeah.
When?
Since always.
But which promos are he cutting?
Topicals. Every topical. It's like... reads... Yeah. We have the anchor read, then we go then an unbelievable slapping game video, and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you don't really need to, it's not like you have to have read the topicals, right? No. Okay.
But it also reads within a certain time frame.
Well, we have when our anchor's available, that should be our first choice.
Yeah, well, we do both.
These are local stories. If it's like a wider story, it probably works. You just have to go with the tone of it. These are pretty hard news stories. So these
I think it's a case-by-case basis, and there's no rule. There's no rule.
Yeah.
Long story short, Kathy semi-agreed to Lorena's whims, and I had to do the topical this way for the night. But the most significant factor, and I hope you've noticed this as well, by being completely caught off guard that half of the topical was an anchor read and the other half voiceover, Lorena basically confessed that as a promotions manager, she had never once seen a single 9 p.m. news topical in the 6 months that I've been producing them. All Lorena had to do was see one of the promotions on air or check in the archive bin, and she would have seen the format we've been using. Now, for someone who confessed to not having enough care to check the finalized daily 9p promotions, why would Lorena be so eager to make an issue of it? Because Lorena again saw an opportunity to breadcrumb a trail back to me, while at the same time she positioned herself as a solid managerial decision maker. And no, Kathy wasn't observant enough to notice Lorena outing herself. Alright, the next 2 clips from this meeting will become relevant in Chapter 4.
These are the most visible spots on our air, and more people see these spots on many nights than see the newscast. So we want our talent to be showcased in them as best as they can.
Okay, so...
Just as if it's a situation where doesn't deliver the copy the way that he should have, then you might have to go put in there. But we want to put our best foot forward, and we want our anchors to appear in prime in the best light. There's no rule to it.
I would prefer us to use the anchors as much as possible. As Kelly just said, they get, these are the most visible spots of the day. When they don't pull off the line, you can always send the copy to at the same time so that you have it as a plan B. And when they don't pull off the line on camera very well, then if they don't pull off the line in a good amount of time that you need, then you've got your plan B in place.
Before we close Chapter 3, I'd like to share some of my thoughts on Lorena's scheming. The cheap defense for Lorena might say she was mistaken on her lie in 3-1. The simple truth is, Lorena was deliberately sleuthing for any wrongdoings by me. Lorena was so focused on mission, she didn't catch the part where I didn't answer no to her relentless questioning. And the reason why Lorena deluded herself into believing it to be a lie is because she wanted to believe it. Therefore, this points to premeditation and an attempt to continue her breadcrumbing, which would ultimately lead to my termination. And I was the one fired for unprofessional behavior? But I suppose the million-dollar question is, did Lorena do this of her own volition, or did Kathy put her up to it? I'm inclined to answer Lorena did this on her own. While I could be a complete opportunist and take advantage of your trust right now by falsely implicating Kathy as being complicit, I would never do that, because I'm dedicated to the open and honest truth, and I'm going to show Kathy the courtesy she never gave me. The fact that Kathy never pressed the issue, nor did she finish her question on the April 10th meeting on whether or not I checked with the assignment desk, points to her honest ignorance in the matter. If Kathy was truly the mastermind, she would have continued to pick at that element, but she didn't. And so, through logic and observation, the truth absolves Kathy of any involvement in Lorena's schemes. And this concludes Chapter 3 of the American Workplace Bully. The next chapter will cover the write-ups and why I didn't go to HR when I had the evidence in hand that Lorena lied about me to Kathy. But before that, be sure to check out my update on where the situation currently stands with Fox News and Fox 7 Austin. You'll find the update link below in the comment box. As always, please share and post comments. Feel free to vent similar workplace bullying stories, but remember, employers are also reading as well. Just be honest. And we'll see you for the next installment of the American Workplace Bully. Thank you for watching.